Today is another good day to learn a proper blending. Join me as I do a mid fade for one of my very regular customer. The first thing I will do is I make sure that there is no hair at the skin level, because one thing that determines your good blending is the neatness of your hair. So I begin the blending by opening my clipper all the way opened. I went up by 1/2 inch. This clipper I'm using is a metal kiki. It is very heavy. Guys, like, if your hand is not strong enough, please don't use metal kiki. I closed my clipper. I tapped on that 1/2 inch I created. I opened a little bit. I tapped on that 1/2 inch I created, and I opened completely. I tapped on that 1/2 inch I created. The goal is for me to remove that 1/2 inch, make the line invisible. So I went in with my step 1. I created a 1/2 inch. Look at me creating that 1/2 inch. Remember, the step 1, when you wear your step 1 on your clipper, it must be all the way open for you to be able to create that 1/2 inch. I closed it. I tapped it all the way up. The same thing I did in my first step without clip, I'm doing it with my second step, but the difference is that I wore step 1 to do it. I opened my clipper all the way open. I tapped on it a little bit. Look at that, is what I'm doing. And I opened my clipper all the way open, and then I tapped on it a little bit. That is what I explained to you, and that is what I am doing. The next thing I will do is that I will wear step 1/2. If you don't have step 1/2, you need to know where to get your step 1/2, because I closed my clipper and with my step 1/2 I tapped on that 1/2 inch I faded on. Now I remove the step 1/2. I use the edge, emphasis on the edge of the clipper, to tap the line. All these things that I'm doing is, sometimes a customer's hair, there might be some very hard hairs that are there that I refuse to remove. That side of the clipper will remove it properly, and also to make the hair look equal. So the next thing I did was I wore my step 2. I opened it and I went up. This place I'm going up on is the place I want to blend. You might be wondering why I'm using step 2, because the hair is not high enough to use step 2. But there are some hairs that cannot be removed with step 1/2. This step I'm using now is step 1/2. I use step 2 and I use step 1/2 before I go in with my step 1. This is my step 1. If you have been following my videos, the order of my videos, you will know how I wore this my step 1 on my clipper. It's not a secret. Go to my videos, all my videos, if you want to know how I wore this my step 1 on this my clipper. So the same thing I did for when I did not wear clipper, that's the same thing I'm doing here with my step 1 also, but I adjusted it in a particular way. That is why I am able to get my blending in this particular form. People blend differently. The way you do your lineup, the way you do your blending is different from the way somebody else do their lineup and their blending.